First. This is ABC-7 Extra.
Good evening, I'm Saul Saenz, and this is ABC-7 Extra Sunday Edition. Thank you so much for spending your Sunday evening with us. Now, we're just one day away from our land ports of entry or bridges reopening after they've been closed for more than 20 months. Businesses along the border have been feeling the impact with fewer dollars flowing during the pandemic. Loved ones have been kept apart from each other for around 20 months. Well, tonight, we'll try to give you as much information as possible on what Customs and Border Protection needs people to know before crossing into the U.S. CBP says travelers should expect longer wait times, even as the agency is working to add additional personnel to handle the influx of traffic. CBP says they could require proof of vaccination to cross. U.S. citizens and residents are now required to show proof of vaccinations, but officers are asking travelers to bring that proof when they cross just in case. Now, travelers will be allowed to show a digital copy of their vaccination card and any documentation that is also in Spanish. Also, unvaccinated minors will be allowed into the U.S. if they are unaccompanied by fully vaccinated adults. Now, different COVID-19 vaccines will be accepted. The 3 approved by the FDA and 4 others endorsed by World Health Organization. The shots include Moderna, Pfizer, Johnson & Johnson, AstraZeneca, Covishield, Sinopharm, and Sinovac. Now, here to help us understand what impact closing the ports to limited crossings and what to expect Monday morning once they reopen is David Coronado. Mr. Coronado is the Director of International Bridges for the city. Also with us is Tanny Berg, owner and founder of Epicenter, a business community in the borderland. I want to thank you, gentlemen. Thank you so much for taking time to talk to us this Sunday evening. Now, I do want to let our viewers know that we did invite folks from Cielo Vista, folks from Bassett, folks from the outlets, trying to get more or less an estimate as to how much they've been impacted during this time. However, they declined to show up for our taping of our cast here. But I do want to start with you, Mr. Coronado. What can we expect Monday morning when bridges reopen to non-U.S. citizens?
Well, first of all, thank you, Saul, for having us today. You know, this is a really important moment for El Paso and Juarez. We really wanted to take advantage of this opportunity for us to communicate to the public about what is going to happen on Monday. You know, on Monday, the new phase reopening begins. Now we have non-essential travel being approved as a purpose for a visit to El Paso. And so we want to have folks understand and know and be ready as far as what they need to do to get across, to come to El Paso. You know, we've had this restriction for more than 20 months. And so this is a moment that we're waiting for now for over a year. And so this is, again, really unique opportunity for El Paso and for Juarez to take one more step to a sense of normalcy. Yeah. And so we want to make sure that the community is ready. The state of El Paso has been working with the stakeholders, with the agencies, to ensure that this is a smooth transition, as smooth as possible, and that everybody is able to cross safely, and that wait times, you know, and those crossings are maintained in good order so that we don't have any issues at the ports of entry.
Mr. Coronado, based on the conversation that you've been having with those stakeholders that you just mentioned, are we expecting a deluge of people, a bunch of people trying to come over on Monday?
So it is hard to anticipate, right? We've not been in this moment in history ever of border crossing, or the community for that matter. And so for us, really, we are planning for the worst, preparing for the best, hoping for the best. You know, we are trying to have enough lanes open, working with CBP, working with the police department so that we have also additional traffic control plans within the city streets to be ready for that surge in crossings that we expect. You know, we do expect overnight on Monday to see crossings increase quite drastically. There's a lot of pent-up demand in the community in Juarez for those crossings to return. And so we are making plans, again, like I said, with the stakeholders and the agencies in anticipation of that happening.
Tanny Berg, your business, Epicenter, has the pulse of the business community. You've seen borders close before, namely after 9/11. What have the past 20 months been like during the closure?
Well, first of all, thank you for having me here. And I have to say, I also represent the Central Business Association, which is a downtown advocacy group of businesses and professionals who are downtown stakeholders who have a vested interest in the opening of the bridge. So obviously, this past year and a half, almost 2 years now, has had a profound impact on our community, both as our office community, but more importantly, as our community at large. not having Mexican nationals come across obviously has impacted families and tourists, but more importantly, business. Business for downtown, which represents 80%. Downtown is represented 80% by Mexican nationals who for the last year and a half haven't been able to come. Cielo Vista Mall, and as you mentioned, and Bassett Center and the outlet malls, all are heavily dependent on Mexican national traffic. As a matter of fact, restaurants and movie theaters and all the things you and I are used to as El Paso citizens are obviously also open and readily accessed by Mexican nationals who come over. So this past year and a half has had a profound effect on the viability of businesses that looked like they were solid, but unfortunately weren't able to withstand so long of not having Mexican traffic.
And Tani, as I said, you have the pulse of the business community, what goes on right here. As a matter of fact, your research indicates that for every dollar spent, how much of that, in cents and dollars and cents, how much of that is comes from Juarez or people from Mexico, say maybe at Cielo Vista, Bassett, the outlets. If you take $1, how much of that represents the purchase power of the Mexican national?
So pre-COVID, pre-pandemic, we have figures that show that well over 51 cents out of every dollar at Cielo Vista Mall was spent by a Mexican national. As a matter of fact, at Sam's, for example, at Cielo Vista Mall pre-COVID, there was almost 65 cents out of every dollar came from a Mexican national. But it isn't just the Mexican nationals spending it at a store. It's how that dollar bounces around our community to buy insurance, to buy gas, to buy things that all of us use coming from the profits made from Mexican nationals who spend their monies in El Paso. So I think that it's a misconception that only those stores impacted directly by Mexican nationals are affected by the pandemic. All of us. House values and the amount of product that's available for us at these retailers like Macy's or Dillard's is directly affected by how many Mexican nationals come across, not just from Juarez, but from Torreon and Mexico City and Chihuahua, all the Mexican nationals who come to El Paso or all border communities and do their shopping and find this as a resource for what things they need.
Yeah, i.e. our neighbors to the south. You're watching ABC-7 Extra. When we come back, we'll talk about what my guests are expecting will happen when sports reopen. Will we see a massive onslaught of people crossing or a trickle? We'll ask. You're watching ABC-7 Extra, where news comes first.
It's TC time at Taco Cabana. Choose select breakfast tacos, 2 for $3, or select lunch or dinner tacos, 2 for $4. Call today to order catering by Taco Cabana for all your holiday get-togethers.
Make a list.
Okay.
Bring everything within reach with a GECU credit card. Apply now at gecu.com.
My name is Rochelle, and I'm on the Facebook privacy team.
Tell me a little bit about your job. What does it entail?
I actually help people understand their privacy because it means different things to different people. You should be able to understand who has your data and how they use it. Federal legislation can give our platforms and other platforms guidelines so we can have a consistent approach.
More than a year and a half ago, the federal government closed El Paso's international ports of entry to non-essential travel. Families were separated. Borderland businesses suffered. Many have permanently closed. Monday, the border reopens. ABC-7 will have special coverage all day long, starting with Good Morning El Paso. How will Homeland Security prioritize safety? What will our new normal look like? Find the context, depth, and perspective you've come to expect all day Monday, only on ABC-7.
'Tis the season for catering by Taco Cabana. Our holiday party pack has everything you need to feed your group. Choose from steak, chicken, or mixed fajita. So call today to order catering by Taco Cabana for all your holiday get-togethers.
Welcome back to ABC-7 Extra. I also want to welcome back David Coronado. Mr. Coronado is the Director of International Bridges for the city. Also with us is Tanny Berg, owner and founder of Epicenter, a business community in the borderland. I want to start with you, Mr. Coronado, because as you just heard, and this announcement was actually made on Friday. As you just heard, CBP is still very concerned about COVID-19 and the possibility that it may come over, despite the fact that they're going to crack down on proof of vaccination. Are there any concerns within the city and obviously Bridges about that this might happen?
Well, we are doing the best we can with vaccination efforts in El Paso. You know, El Paso reached herd immunity before the state of Texas, before the U.S. did. And so in El Paso, we are in a really good place to go into this new phase reopening. The new rules are going to help ensure that that continues and that we continue improving the safety and maintaining the health of our residents and now also Juarez residents. You know, with this phase reopening, we still don't know whether or not we'll see an increase in vaccination or demand for vaccines. And so in the event that that happens, we are ready to have pop-up vaccination events at the ports of entry, near the ports of entry, so that those crossers, if they so want to get a vaccine, they are able to do that in the city once they cross. I think we're ready to begin this phase reopening. And El Paso, I think, is in a far better place than many other communities along the U.S.-Mexico border that are facing different issues than we are here.
Tanny, is there a fear among the business community about the spread of COVID-19 now that the ports are going to reopen?
Remember, Saul, that all this time Americans could go to Juarez, and they did. And it's just the fact that Mexican nationals couldn't come over here, but American traffic back and forth along the bridge has not been impeded. So it's been, yes, it's been necessary, but the reality is we have a lot of issues of people who live on this side, work in the maquilas over there. So I really don't think that that's going to be an issue. It's a great way to build up some angst, some fear, but I don't feel that that's going to be a real issue. I think that we as a community, the word community is defined by the last 5 letters, U-N-I-T-Y. And we are a community. El Paso Juarez is one community. That's what defines us. I mean, the fact that we have almost 2 million people just directly to the south of our dried over creek makes it possible for us to establish El Paso as a viable destination for not just people from Mexico, but from people from all over the world who come here because we're the largest border crossing in the world. So at the end of the day, I really don't feel that that's going to be an issue. There are statistics that show us that Juarezans have been vaccinated to almost a 90% effective rate. I mean, the reality is many more Mexican nationals have chosen to get vaccines now than even Americans, and certainly even El Pasoans. So I don't think that's going to be a problem.
Yeah. Mr. Coronado, let's talk about a key component. Let's talk about the P3 program. This actually helps Customs and Border Protection with overtime costs to try to decrease wait times. Can you elaborate on that, please?
Yeah, so this program, we've had it in El Paso since 2014. El Paso was actually one of the first 5 communities in the U.S. to be selected to be part of this pilot program. Now it is no longer a pilot program. We have it on a permanent basis with CBP, and it essentially allows the city of El Paso to reimburse CBP for additional lanes open, additional officers on overtime schedule, trying to expedite crossings, reducing wait times during those peak times throughout the week. We've had it in place since then, and we continue implementing it as we speak today. We've had it in place throughout the pandemic, especially on the commercial side, so for trucks, for maquiladoras, for the industry, to benefit still, despite the pandemic, that industry and that sector of the economy has been expanding actually quite a bit in the region, in El Paso and in Juarez.
As a follow-up question, are you increasing the amount of money that's being pumped into the P3 program once we reopen the ports?
Absolutely. So yes, so we are going to go from about 300 hours of overtime support to CBP to about 1,000 hours a month. So we're tripling the number of resources and hours and dollars invested in this program overnight, starting on Monday. And so on Monday, you'll see the program getting restarted for vehicles and pedestrians at the city-owned ports of entry. And so again, we're trying to plan for the worst, hope for the best. We're going to be doubling on the resources also for the police department to assist in traffic control. So not only on reduced wait times from Juarez to El Paso, but also from El Paso to Juarez as those travelers return to their homes in Juarez.
Tani, will you preface this during our first segment where we go beyond retail? Now, will opening of the ports and bridges have far-reaching effects to other businesses?
All businesses, everybody in El Paso, to one degree or another, is impacted by the trade from Mexico. And so, yes, I think it's going to affect virtually every business, from restaurants, as I said, to movie theaters, to everything in El Paso, to people selling insurance. Two things I think are real important to point out. First of all, I think the business community owes a huge debt of gratitude to the city for being really, as you heard, among the pilot programs, starting up the P3 program, which allowed cities to help Border Protection actually create the personnel that they need. But the second thing I think is just as important. We cannot neglect the dignity of the people crossing. That means we have to provide services for them as well. We would provide those services for cattle if it were coming across. So people have the right to have a place to sit down. We've now, thanks to the bridges, we've created a cover for them to walk in if it's hot or if it's cold, if it's raining. But at the same time, water. People have to be hydrated as they come across. And so I think we need to pay special attention to providing dignity and services to the people who are just waiting to come and visit their families or come shopping in El Paso. We cannot neglect these human beings, and we can't treat them as anything less.
Got it. We're going to take another break. You're watching ABC-7 Extra. Still ahead, how will the reopening of the land ports do to the peso, or exactly what will it do to the peso exchange rate? Will our neighbors to the south have more purchasing power as we near the holiday season? The answer when we come back.
Don't miss Ashley Home Store's Black Friday flash sale. Saturday and Sunday only. Save 25% off store-wide with no minimum purchase. Plus, enter to win in our $50,000 furniture giveaway. 2 days only at Ashley Home Store. This is home.
Think premium can't be capable? Think again. Introducing the first ever AT4 lineup. Premium and capable. That's professional grade from GMC. Or get over $2,000 purchase cash on this 2021 Sierra Light Duty Crew Cab Texas Edition. Plus, current eligible GMC owners get an additional $250 purchase allowance.
The unknown is not empty. It's a storm that crashes and consumes, replacing thought with worry. But one thing can calm uncertainty: an answer. Uncovered through exploration, teamwork, and innovation. An answer that leads to even more answers. Mayo Clinic. You know where to go.
Days are built on mornings. And Whataburger is built on burgers. Mornings, burgers. Morning burgers? Yeah, all right. Good thing there's a burger made just for breakfast. Topped with breakfast.
The limited time breakfast burger is back at Whataburger. Available by dine-in, drive-thru, curbside, and delivery.
Huge savings this Saturday and Sunday at Ashley Home Store's Black Friday flash sale. Save 25% off store-wide with no minimum purchase. Or get 0% interest for 5 years with no minimum purchase and no money down. Don't miss it. 2 days only at Ashley Home Store.
Welcome back to ABC-7 Extra. I also want to welcome back for this third and final segment David Coronado. He is the Director of International Bridges for the city. Tani Berg, owner and founder of Epicenter. Thank you all for spending your Sunday evening with us to answer these very, very important questions. This question is for all of you. Are there any concerns about the spread? We answered that already, but is there any concerns about possibly the exchange rate that we have now versus what it can be once we open up the ports? Because as you well know, the market fluctuates, and also does the peso. Will the peso have more purchasing power as we reach the holiday season? Mr. Coronado?
Yeah, it's a very good question, Saul. So over the last 20 months or so with the pandemic, we have seen El Peso lose power against the dollar, especially early on in the pandemic, March, April, May, and for the most part of 2020. We saw the peso going from 19, the high teens, to about 25 pesos per dollar, slowly improving over the last 20 months. We're back to about 20 pesos per dollar right now in Mexico. And so that's good news for residents in Juarez. It's good news for El Paso as well, and those business owners that are waiting to get the traffic, the additional traffic, come back through their doors as these reopenings take place. And so now that the peso is back in a more stable condition, in a better place, and now with the holidays as well and this reopening, the El Paso economy is going to benefit quite a bit from this new phase approach that the government is taking. It's, again, good news for El Paso, good news for Juarez's also to buy goods and services that they can't get in Juarez. And so, again, it's for everybody win-win conditions right now that we have in the region.
Tenny?
Well, I mean, over the last 30 years, we've seen the peso rate fluctuate, and it's going to continue to do so. Inflation and everything else comes into play. But at the end of the day, Mexican nationals want Christmas lights, and they want toys for their kids, and they need the basics that you and I take for granted on this side of the border. And so whatever the exchange rate is, they're going to come across and buy the trinkets that they need for Christmas, wreaths and trees and all the things that they're so used to coming and getting on this side. The real question for us is going to be, this last year and a half has trained Mexican nationals who were so used to coming across the border to go to stores already located in Mexico, to the Walmarts and the Sams that are already over there. So the question is, will we be able to get them back? The real question is going to be Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and these next couple of weeks. Will they continue to come to El Paso now that they've discovered that they can get a lot of the products they were used to buying on this side, on that side? And a lot of stuff that we have available here now is readily available there. I think they will come back. We are going to welcome them with open arms. Our word bienvenidos now is out on the street, on South El Paso Street, to tell people that we are absolutely welcoming them back here. But we'll have to wait and see whether or not they have learned that a lot of the things that they were used to getting over here, they now can access directly over there.
A key question that I have for you, Tenny, will we have the goods? As you well know, there's a supply chain shortage, and if we have that influx of people and there's that supply chain shortage, will we have the goods to welcome them back with?
So remember, Saul, that we've had a year and a half to stockpile. It's true that maybe now things are harder to get, but El Paso businesses have stockpiled these products now for a year and a half waiting for Mexican nationals to come back. I think we have more than ample goods. There are products available, a lot of them maybe in local stores. When you go to your Walmarts or your big stores, your Sam's, Marshalls, and Ross, in those stores they may have issues, but I promise you that the downtown merchants and merchants throughout El Paso have stockpiled product waiting for Mexican nationals to return, and that there will be ample goods to be able to service them.
Mr. Coronado, let's talk about a graph that we have that has to do with retail sales allocations. We're going to be showing it to our viewers so that they can see, and you have pretty much an idea of what that is because you put it together. And you have three different colors, and you go from January all the way to December. By September, you only have two colors up. What do these indicate? What does this graph tell us?
Yeah, so the graph that we have right now on the screen, essentially what it tells us is that the story that in El Paso, conditions and consumer spending has been improving considerably over the last 20 months. You know, we did see a considerable decline in March and April of 2020, right as the pandemic began. But since then, we've seen that consumer spending in El Paso has remained strong. And actually, in all of what we've seen so far of 2021, every single month for the last 8 consecutive months, we have surpassed consumer spending patterns in El Paso as far as retail sales go and sales taxes go since the beginning of the year. And so not only surpassing 2020, which is not a really difficult feat to accomplish, but also surpassing 2019. And so for the last 8 months consecutively, we've continued to see strong consumer spending behavior in El Paso. The economy also continues to improve. We're basically almost at pre-pandemic levels as far as the business cycle goes. The unemployment rate also is right now below 6%. If you recall, right on the onset of the pandemic in March and April, we went up to double digits to 15%. So now again, close to 5%. The job market is getting really, really tight. Again, that's good news for El Paso, good news for the economy. And again, now with this phase reopening, it's going to push the El Paso economy even more to continue expanding.
Tanny Berg, in the 30 seconds that I have left, I'll give you the final word.
Well, I just want to say that a lot of those figures are skewed because they're all relating to sales tax revenues, and a lot of Mexican nationals are able to get manifiestos or actually exempt themselves from sales tax revenues, and those numbers will not be shown there. I think we'll see a steep increase in El Paso economy. I think it'll be good for El Paso. We need, as community, to welcome these people back into the fold.
Tanny Berg, David Coronado, thank you so much for taking time to talk to us this Sunday evening.
Thank you. You bet.
All right.
Thank you.
And thank you for joining us. I'm Saul Sainz, and this has been ABC 7 Extra Sunday Edition. Good night y buenas noches.